And this 3-time world champion, 4-time MVP, and 16-time All-Star was the first to walk on air. I'm talking about no other than Julius Winfield Irving, better known as Dr. J. This doctor revolutionized the way the game of basketball was played and is still held as one of the most exhilarating players of all time. Millions were captivated as they watched him gracefully soar through the air night after night, unapologetically dunking the ball with surgical precision over the heads of his opponents. And many of them got on this stage and admitted that tonight. In fact, in 1976, this living legend single-handedly created one of the most memorable moments in the era of sports.
Here it is.
Winning the first ever ABA slam dunk contest as the world witnessed for the first time a seamlessly executed slam dunk from the free throw line. After a stellar 16-year career, this basketball Hall of Famer passed the torch in 1997, walking away as the 3rd highest scorer in ABA NBA basketball history. His style, class, grace, and dignified demeanor away from the court was as contrast and complement to his ferocious posture on the court. This perfect harmony enabled him to transcend basketball and become the face of the NBA. Today, he continues to maintain generational relevance. A brilliant businessman, entrepreneur, and philanthropist, he sits on the board of directors for more than 10 multi-million-dollar corporations, including Converse, the Sports Authority, and Saks Fifth Avenue. He was, and will ever be, the epitome of class and one of the most well-respected players of all time. So without further ado, please stand on your feet as we present the Lifetime Achievement Award to Mr. Julius Winfield Irving, Dr. J.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
It's been a long night.
Excuse me.
You didn't hear that from me. But you know, one thing about it that's been a real throwback is seeing people dressed to the nines, clean shaven, hair looking good. Not hearing people in the background cussing, fussing, twerking. Where's enough enough? When you're an adult, there is an expectation that your behavior is going to rise with your adulthood. And then when you're old head, like me, somebody mentioned I got gray hair, white hair, or whatever, you can only just take so much of it. The loud rap music, riding down the street, hood down, music blasting, people cussing and fussing and twerking. But this is a throwback.
Yes, it is.
I mean, who feels good about where we are and what ABIS has put together for all of us to turn the clock back a little, put our tuxedos on, put on our nice evening gowns, get our makeup done. Get the hair done. All that good stuff. So thank you, ABIS. Thank you, Gary, and the staff, for not only the invitation, but bringing me to Las Vegas, which I like to come to. My favorite cities on the planet. But not only coming to Las Vegas, but coming to Las Vegas and being put in this environment with these people and listening to people come up and talk intelligently and articulating their feelings and their thoughts and telling truths, saying things that are relevant for people to hear, not nonsense. So I'm happy to be the closing act because I think that a Lifetime Achievement Award should probably be responded to in a way that allows people to maybe learn something about you that they didn't know before, and something about your life that they didn't know before. And while I was sitting there, I started thinking about being in Bill Cosby's house with Miles Davis and with Arthur Ashe and with Reggie Jackson when I was 23 years old. And we were friends in New York. And we talked about, we wasn't smoking no herb or doing no crazy stuff or whatever. I still haven't ever smoked herb, so I don't know what I'm missing, but and you gonna start now. But we talked about the things that really are the issues that are still the issues of the day. And in terms of black economics, we talked about pooling our resources and 5 of us trying to do more than 1 of us could do. And as it turned out, we lost Arthur, and we lost Miles, probably within 10 years of that last meeting at Bill's house. But I moved on, fortunately, with a guy named J. Bruce Llewellyn in New York and Bill Cosby, and was able to be Coca-Cola bottlers. The first in a line of black-owned Coca-Cola bottling company owners. And that was in 1985. And a few weeks ago, because I stay in touch with Reggie, and I'm 72 and Reggie's 75, so we both old heads. But Reggie just opened a Reggie Jackson Airport Honda dealership in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I'm like, hook me up, man, hook me up. So I went to, he wanted me to come and just hang out with him, have lunch. And so I'm sitting there with Rick Hendrick, who's the automobile giant all across the country and whatever. And the conversation had started with Rick and Reggie because Reggie went to an automobile dealership opening and there were no black people there. And so over a 10-year period, it led to Reggie opening this dealership. And the majority of the people we hired to run the dealership are minorities from Raleigh, North Carolina. And there's a model there that needs to be addressed and duplicated and repeated. And it should be the norm. It should be so abnormal. And all of us, know that not only in the automobile industry or Coca-Cola bottling industry or whatever, there is inequity and there's, weren't people talking about golf today? And tonight it came up multiple times. And I love golf. And I want to talk about golf. So as my acknowledgement, my thank you, my recognition, I want to say some things about golf. Because not long after meeting with those guys in New York, I went through basketball career, what was talked about. And I'm very proud of it. And I'm very proud of the brothers who are here, who played basketball in the NBA, and what they did. And then the media people here, Bill Roden, me just seeing you, man. I'm just thinking of us in New York, going to a jazz concert, And you and, who was the guy arguing all the time? You and somebody else was with us. Your friend. My friend, I thought it was your friend. That had to be like 25 or 30 years ago, right? And let me just do this, because I'm going to see, trust my memory a little bit, or whatever. But Richard Lapchick, so when I was senior vice president for the Orlando Magic, we brought in Richard Lapchick, and he told his story, and he spent hours, minutes, hours, days, whatever, making an impact, consistent with what he made here. So I was senior vice president of the Orlando Magic from '96 to 2004. So he has stayed the course, 100%. I thank you, it's so great to see you. Yes. And there's probably some other people here, I don't want to miss anybody, but I do have to clean house, because I did get married in 2011, and I got my vows renewed in 2021. And since it's a Lifetime Achievement Award, when I answered the comedian, who's probably still in here, the way that I did, that was experience. I didn't want to open up the door for him to ask a follow-up question. So y'all remember that, because I got tricked once, and I ain't trying to get tricked again. When you talk back to the guy on stage, you open the door, because he's like, I got him now. We're going to go with this. So anyway, let me just talk a little bit about golf, because I did play today, had a great fun playing. Spencer and I have played, and I guess we can't play basketball no more, so we just go and play golf. And Spencer and I went over to Hawaii, and we were partners in the Ace Hardware shootout, and we had a great time. Got to know him a whole lot better than I did when he was a basketball player, and I was a basketball player. So the whole golf thing, and how I think it relates to ABIS and the mission of ABIS. When I started in 1987, going to country clubs, many times WASPy country clubs, many times Jewish country clubs, never a black owned and operated country club. And at that time, there were two in the country, one in Cleveland and one in Camden, New Jersey, over in New Jersey. And I made it a point that I was going to get to those, and I still didn't make it to both of them. I made it to one of them before the other 9 or 10 came into being over the last, whatever the number of years is, from 1987, long time, including one that I own myself, down in Atlanta, Georgia. And when I went to these clubs, I was a novice player, but I didn't go to show off my game or show off my skills or go there as a hoop star who was trying to take over the place or anything. I went there with friends that I had made in the Jewish community and the non-Jewish community, and I went there with those friends as their guests. And once I was inside, I felt that my presence there needed to have a positive impact on all the people who had been so prejudiced and biased against minorities, not only being guests at their club, but God forbid you should ever become a member at that country club. And it was 1968 when the law stepped in and said these country clubs cannot have, these laws and rules and bylaws saying what they can't do. If they were taxpayers and they were open their businesses and they had X number of people, see, that was